Hello everybody, and thank you for coming to another nature story time. We are getting close to the end of May. Many of our birds have returned from where they migrate to during the winter, and many of them are on nests. Even in my yard, I've been watching 2 different robin nests. I can see one right now. See Mama sitting on the eggs up there. So it's an awesome time of year to take a look around, see if you can find any bird nests. Lots of times they're pretty well hidden, but sometimes they might be right on your house or under your porch. And to learn a little bit more about bird nests. So we have an awesome story today. It is packed with information, so I might not get to it all. It's like part story, part resource book. The illustrations are super cute, and there's tons and tons of info, so we'll get through what we can. Our story today is called What's Inside a Bird's Nest and Other Questions About Nature and Life Cycles. And this book was written and illustrated by Rachel Ignotofsky. It says she's the best-selling author of Women in Science. So let's get started. Chirp, chirp, chirp. All around the world, baby birds want their breakfast. So these are different nests from around the world, and they're all labeled. So the Baltimore Oriole from North America weaves a hanging nest, as does the Bayeux weaver from Asia, goldfinch from Europe, tailor bird from Asia, and it actually sews 2 leaves together to make a nest, yellow-billed duck from Africa, and the yellow chevroned parakeet from South America. Bird parents rush to find food for their babies. They soar above clouds, like the Andean condor, zigzag through the trees, like the rainbow lorikeet, dive into the sea, like the gentoo penguin, swoop down from cliffs, like the cliff swallow, hunt in the moonlight, like the great horned owl, and splash across ponds, like the mute swan. Birds return home with a tasty meal for their young. For many, this home is wherever they build a nest. Some nests are way up high. Platform nest. This is a white stork. Others are hidden inside old trees in what we call a cavity nest, like the pileated woodpecker. Some birds nest down low or even underground in a burrow nest, like this puffin, or in a scrape nest on the ground, like this willow ptarmigan. While other birds weave nests among the plants and the flowers. So we have a dome nest of mud, cup nest, a pendant nest, those hanging nests that we saw, cavity nests inside tree, floating nests in our ponds and marshes, lots of different nests. She says, oh look, you can look, but never touch a bird's nest. Today, there are over 10,000 known different kinds or species of birds. Birds are found nearly everywhere on Earth. She says, cool. All birds begin life as an egg. Eggs can be colorful. So we have an emu egg, American robin, I don't know how to say it, a Keddy's warbler, and an elegant crested tinamou. Very brightly colored eggs. Or they can have spots and speckles, like a peregrine falcon egg, golden oriole, or an American golden plover. Some birds lay many eggs, and others lay only one. A gold-lined chicken lays over 320 eggs a year, fertilized or not. About 12 eggs in a group. Great spotted kiwi lays just 1 egg a year. The egg is almost the size of their entire body. But how does an egg become a bird. Why are birds important? What's inside a bird's nest? Science can help us answer these questions. Before there can be an egg, a bird needs to find a mate. It all starts with courtship. So we have a male and a female. Sound is how birds communicate. Springtime comes alive with a frenzy of bird calls. Tweet, tweet. Songbirds let out a tune to attract a partner. Complicated songs are how these birds show off their strength and skills. Male birds often have brighter colors than female birds. So this is the male painted bunting and the female. The male scarlet tanager and the female. So the males are brighter. And the goldfinches. So male and female. Songs are just one of the many ways a bird finds its mate. Some birds do a dance, like red-crowned cranes. There are birds that are famous for their colorful displays. You guys know this bird, a peacock. Many birds give gifts to impress their partners, like these kingfishers. And there's even a kind of bird that builds a work of art, called the bowerbird. There are birds whose relationships only last a second, like hummingbirds, and birds that pair for a lifetime, like scarlet macaws. Most bird behavior falls somewhere in between. Pair bonds usually last for at least one mating season. When birds mate, the male bird fertilizes the female's eggs. Pair-bonded birds will raise their young together. To prepare for new eggs, birds build a nest. It's hard work, but worth it. A nest will cradle the eggs and keep them hidden from hungry predators. Finding the perfect place for the fragile egg is important. Inside the tree, hidden from predators. Birds are born knowing how to build their nest. Instinct tells them what to do. Some build nests that are gigantic. So a bald eagle has a nest that's 4 to 6 feet wide, and they pass their nest down to the next generation, it says. Great blue herons' nests are 1/2 foot to 4 feet wide. There are birds that create complicated weavings. The pendulum tit uses spider silk, hair and fur, and soft grasses to build a nest that hangs from a branch, and it has a fake entrance. So the snake pokes its head in there and it doesn't go anywhere, but the real entrance is hidden up above. That's pretty cool. While other nests are teeny tiny. So this nest is only 4 to 5.5 inches tall, and they weave leaves together. This is the common tailor bird, to sew those leaves up to build a little nest. The white nest swiftlet is only 2 to 3 inches wide, their nest, so teeny tiny. It's using spit. And then ruby-throated hummingbirds, 1 to 2 inches wide, are their little teeny tiny nests. So they use thistle, pine sap, dandelion down, and spider silk to make a super soft, cozy nest. And there are those who make a simple scrape or mound in the dirt, like the flamingo in mud, or the American oyster catcher that just does a scrape in the sand. Once the nest is completed, the female bird lays her eggs. Birds sit on their eggs to keep them warm. This is called incubation. Eggs need constant warmth to grow. The nest acts like a cozy sweater. What's inside of an egg? An egg starts out as a single cell. A fertilized egg has an embryo, so right in the middle here. This is an unhatched bird in its earliest stages. So the embryo is in the middle. It's surrounded by the yolk, which is food for the embryo. Outside of the yolk is the albumin, or the egg whites, that cushions the yolk. At the bottom, we see there's an air cell, so oxygen for the embryo to breathe. On the outside is the shell, the hard and strong protective surface. It says cells divide and multiply, building different body parts. Each part of the egg helps the embryo become a bird. So we have the embryo, the shell, the albumin outside, the yolk, and the air cell still as that chick is developing inside the egg. Birds must guard their nest. Eggs make a tasty meal for many animals. How many of you eat eggs? I eat eggs. Predators like snakes, cats, foxes, and even other birds see nests as a cookie jar filled with goodies. Certain kinds of birds can be a big problem. There are sneaky birds that lay their eggs in others' nests. So this says adult red warbler. This is the adult bird. And this is a baby cuckoo bird. So the cuckoo bird lays its eggs in a different bird's nest. And says the cuckoo bird imposter hatches and kicks out the red warbler's eggs. So it takes over the nest, and then this parent feeds this chick that's not its baby. Birds squawk and fight to defend their nests, like the snowy owl. Others lead predators away from their nest by faking an injury, like this killdeer. Some will nest next to a tough neighbor, like this violaceous trogon, which nests next to wasps, while others find strength in numbers, like the sociable weaver. With time and care, a baby bird is ready to hatch. Soon there's a peck, a wiggle, and a pop. It says that the birds have an egg tooth, a temporary tooth for breaking the shell. Many birds start life blind, bald, and noisy. A newborn bird is called a hatchling. I'm hungry, chirp, chirp. Birds grow at different speeds. Most birds that nest in trees are born completely dependent on their parents, like cardinals and red-tailed hawks. Birds that mature after hatching are called altricial. Many ground nesting birds and water birds hatch with fluffy feathers, and they can walk, like a trumpeter swan or a snowy plover. Birds that hatch mature are called precocial. Some birds even break out of their shells ready to swim and hunt for food. Hatchlings grow their first fuzzy feathers and open their eyes. They are now nestlings. Babies are fed constantly and become big and strong. When a bird is nearly ready to leave the nest, it's called a fledgling. Fledglings practice flying by hopping and flapping their wings. Soon they leave the nest for their first flight. They are now juvenile birds. Some juvenile birds continue to be fed by their parents. They learn to hunt as their colorful adult feathers grow in. Old feathers fall out. This is called molting. Once they are fully grown, birds soar through the sky, ready to take on the world. Feathers. Birds are the only animals with feathers. A feather's special shape allows the bird to fly. So we have different types of feathers and different parts. And we might look at the colors of these different groups of feathers to help identify a bird. So there are the wing coverts, the primary wing feathers, the secondary wing feathers, upper tail coverts, the tail feathers, undertail coverts, the belly, the breast, and the throat, and on top of the head is the crown. So then we can look at the parts of the feather. If we were to look at it under a microscope, we see all these little barbs and barbules that have hooks on them. And it says, barbs hook together like a zipper that gives feathers a smooth surface, perfect for flight. So some of you have probably taken a feather and kind of zipped it up and made it all lock together nicely. That's because those little barbs that hook together. There are 3 types of feathers. Down feathers keep birds warm. Contour feathers give birds a streamlined shape. And flight feathers that are strong and stiff to push against the air for flying. Birds constantly preen to clean their feathers. Birds preen to keep feathers flat and insect-free. Birds help each other preen hard-to-reach spots. Some birds bathe in water, and others take dust baths. Certain birds have a gland that makes a special oil for preening and waterproofing their feathers. Bird anatomy. Birds are built for flight. So we can see all the different parts of a bird here. And it says that they have hollow bones made with this honeycomb structure that provides strength, but also has larger air pockets. And it says that they're hollow because it makes them light, which is easier for them to fly. Birds have different shaped beaks, feet, and wings. So depending on what a bird eats, how it moves, how it needs to move to find food sometimes, it has different shaped parts. And it says all birds have wings, but some can't fly, like our ostriches, kiwis, and penguins. Some have gliding wings or soaring wings, zigzagging wings or high-speed wings. Some have perching feet, swimming feet, clawing feet, or running feet. And some have wood-drilling beaks, meat-tearing beaks, water-filtering beaks, or seed-cracking beaks. So our birds have a lot of different adaptations to help them with their role. Birds need lots of food to power their flight. There are birds that are fierce hunters. Birds of prey are carnivores that eat meat, like broad-winged hawks, barn owls, and brown pelicans. Birds hunt in the air, on the land, and in the sea. Some are scavengers, like the turkey vulture. They find dead things to eat and are part of nature's cleanup crews. Most birds are opportunistic and will eat meat and plants. Acorn woodpecker eats acorns and ants. Animals with this diet are called omnivores. Seeds, fruit, and insects are a favorite meal. Every bird is part of nature's complicated food web. Birds are nature's gardeners. Those that munch on plants will drop seeds as they snack, like this goldfinch. Some birds hide seeds to eat later, just like a squirrel hides nuts, like this nuthatch. Fallen and forgotten seeds can end up planted in the soil. Birds hunt insects that feast on crops. They are nature's pest control. Eating means pooping, and birds poop a lot. Bird poop is a fertilizer filled with nutrients. This creates rich soil for plants to grow in. It says their poop has phosphorus, nitrogen, and undigested seeds. Bird poop often has undigested seeds. With a splat, they get planted. Bird migration. The changing seasons trigger one of the Earth's biggest animal journeys, called migration. Winter weather means fewer resources. Certain birds fly heroic distances in search of warmth and food. Migration examples. The Arctic tern flies from the Arctic to Antarctica and back every year. The snow goose flies from the northern parts of Canada all the way down to Mexico or Central America. Ruby-throated hummingbirds fly from the United States down to Mexico or Central America, but they cross the Gulf of Mexico, which is pretty cool. Skylarks travel from Europe over towards Asia. Siberian cranes fly from the northern parts of Russia to southern parts of Asia. And the common greenshank flies from Australia all the way up into Asia. It says about 40% of birds migrate. How does a bird know where to go each year? Birds navigate by using the sun and stars, like the Canada goose. But they also have special senses that can tell where the north and south poles are, just like compasses. Cold weather in the fall tells migratory birds to fly south for warmth. Seasons changing from winter to spring tell birds to return to the north. Each year, many birds return to where they were born to build a nest and lay eggs. 1. Adult birds court and find their mate. 2. A nest is built for new eggs. 3. Eggs are laid and incubated. 4. Baby birds hatch and are cared for. 5. Babies grow feathers and practice flying. That's 6 too, they practice flying. 7. They take their first flight as juveniles. 8. They're fully matured. They are now ready to find a mate. The cycle of life continues. So that is the bird's life cycle. We have learned what's inside a bird's nest and why birds are important. Birds help keep nature in balance by being pest control. They help plant seeds. Bird poop returns nutrients to the land and sea. And certain birds are keystone species. This means other wildlife depends on them. So example, a pileated woodpecker makes all these giant holes in trees that other animals use for their nests or their homes. And there are birds that are pollinators, like our hummingbirds. They help plants make more seeds by spreading pollen as they eat from flowers. Just like a precious egg, birds need our protection. There are many ways you can help. Turn your lawn into a diverse garden with local plants, because gardens can provide food for birds, bugs, and pollinators. Be a responsible pet owner. Cats hunt birds, so keeping your cat on a leash, keeping them inside, or putting a bell on your cat if it's going to be an outdoor cat. Clean up litter and stop pollution, because plastic trash ends up in the ocean and harms birds and other animals. And protect our planet and wild spaces. Birds need their natural habitat for food and shelter, so we have to leave their habitat for them to use too. Protecting our planet starts with learning more. How will you keep exploring? Our Earth is filled with wonder and discovery. Just like a hungry baby bird leaving the nest, you'll feed your curiosity, grow, and learn more. Sources and resources. So these are going to be our activities for the week, so I'll read through them real quick. Go bird watching. You can even participate in bird counts that help scientists understand nature. Learn more about birding at www.audubon.org/birding. Ask an expert. Meet a scientist who studies birds. That's an ornithologist. By visiting your local natural history museum, nature preserve, or national park. You can ask a museum guide or a park ranger about birds too. Build a bird feeder or a birdhouse. Natural resources for birds shrink every year, but we can help. Putting out feeders in houses helps birds find food and shelter. For coloring pages and vocabulary worksheets, visit the author's website at rachelignotofskydesign.com. And I'll put some of those resources in the information for the video. But get out there, go bird watching, see if you can find some bird nests, and remember any of the things that you learned in this book, and have a wonderful time out exploring nature. We'll see you again soon for another story time. Bye-bye.